I welcome you back to another lesson. And in this lesson, we are going to learn something called variables. Variables. So, what is a variable? In programming, when we talk of variable, we talk about a named memory location used to hold a value that can be changed during the execution of the program or the code. So, every program or code has its own memory location, or it creates a memory for its own. So when you declare a variable, the variable also creates another memory, or it creates a portion of the memory for its own, then it stores a data into that memory. But one thing must note here is that data varies. It changes as time or as the program runs. It changes. That's why we call it variable. So we are going to learn how to declare a variable to hold a value, and that value will change, and as it changes, it gives us a different output altogether. So, but there's one thing you must note, that when you're declaring a variable, you can't use a space. You can't use a space. So let's take for example, if you want to declare a variable and the variable name is, let's say, root, and you want to give space, it is not allowed. It's either you combine the root, or let's say you want to type, or you want to use root academy as the variable name. You can't write root and give a space and write academy. It will not accept. It's either you write root academy as a one word, or you write root underscore academy. So in variable declaration or in variable name, you don't accept space. Also, use any letter, A to Z, any letter as the first character. So anytime you are declaring a variable, use a letter, or if you are use a letter to start the variable. Also, you cannot use period, that's full stop, to start a variable. You can also use exclamation mark or at key or at character. You cannot also use that, or any other of the signs, the ampersand, the dollar sign, the hash sign, the star sign. Others you cannot use them to start the variable, but it can be in between them. So you should take note of that. Also, there are some keywords that are reserved under VBA. There are some keywords, something like and, or, but. Such words, say, close, such words, they are reserved for, or they are reserved words in VBA. With that, when you are declaring a variable, you cannot use them. Okay, now let's talk about the syntax. Syntax when you want to declare a variable. So let's create a new model. So let's go to insert and create a new model. Okay, so now let's name the model as sub variable. Okay, now if you want to declare a variable, the first thing is you must state a keyword called dim, and the full name is dimension. On top of dim, we're talking about dimension. That means you need to declare a dimension, the size of the variable that you want to create, the space that you want to create in your code. So with the dimensions, it can be an integer. That's the data types. It can be an integer, it can be a string, it can be a boolean value, it can be a float. So these are the data types. So if you are declaring it, you need to know the kind of data or the kind of information that the variable is going to hold, so that you declare it as a data type. So first of all, you state the dim keyword. We also have something we call private. You can also declare your dim your variable by starting with private. You can also use global. You can also use public. So these 4 keywords, that's what you are going to. But in this lesson, you are going to deal with the theme for now. So in the next lesson, I'll make more emphasis on when to use public, when to use global, and when to use private, and then div. Okay, so now we are going to declare a variable. So first of all, we declare the keyword. So then the variable name will come. So that's the syntax, the keyword dim, and the variable name. So let's say the variable name is my underscore variable. So my variable. But you must note that just a letter can be used to name a variable. A letter, let's say A, B, or any other variable, a letter can be used to name a variable. So then variable, and you create it, or you dim it as the data type. So which data type? So let's say we want to use string, so let me dim it as a string. Okay, so now we have declared our variable. So the moment you declare a variable, you need to give the variable a name. So now our variable name is you need to declare, after declaring a variable, you need to give your variable a value. So now our variable is my underscore variable. That is the variable name you have declared. So if you declare the variable name, that means you need to give it a value. So the value is equal to, we declare it that our variable should hold a string value. So our string value will now be let's say Joe Root Academy. Okay, so we have learned that string values are always in double quotes. Okay, so now we have declared our variable, which is what my variable as string. Then we are giving our variable a name as what? Joe Root. So now we want to display our variable. So we declare a message box. Then the message box will display, or will declare what? My variable. So the system is, we are telling the system that dim, which is the dimension. We have set a dimension for my variable, which is the variable name, as a string, and you have given the variable name a value to be your root, and want the variable name to be displayed. So we are not going to say the message box should give us the root, but it should give us what? My variable. So any value in my variable should display. Okay, so now let's step into it. So when you step into it, you see that it has given us what? A prompt message that Joe Root Academy. Okay, so that is how we declare a variable. So don't forget, you can declare as many variables as you want. So we can also declare another variable as, let's say, dim y as integer. Okay, so then you give the y variable, y is equal to 100. Then you output it. So when you want to display it, we display it as a message box. Then the name of the variable, which is what? Y. Okay, so now let's step into it. I want to show you something. Now you can see that the first message box, the variable name is in bracket, but the second one is not in bracket. So let's step into it again, then see the effect. So you step into it, the first message box will pop up, Joe Root Academy. Then let's see the second one too. Good. So meaning that when you are going to output a variable, either you put them in quotes, in brackets, or you just type the word like that without putting them in bracket. All of them will work for you. Okay, so I'll end the lesson here. And in this lesson, we learned how to declare a variable. We said in declaring a variable, we need to have a keyword. And the keyword is what the keywords identifiers. So with the keywords, we have the dim, we have the private, we have the public, and you have the global. And today's lesson, we did the global. Actually, we did the private. And anytime you declare a private variable, we did the dim. Sorry. So when you declare the dim keyword will come. Then the variable name followed by the dimension. So the dimension can be string, can be Boolean, it can be integer, and others. Then after that, you give the variable a value. Then you output it using the message box. Okay, so I'll end the lesson here, and we're going to continue in the next lesson. Bye bye.